If you think about the things that we fear most, you'd probably guess that most of us fear death more than anything else. But it's not like we wake up each day worrying that this particular day might be our last. According to the experts, what we really fear each and every day is some kind of failure. It turns out, according to psychological surveys, that one failure we are extremely frightened of is giving a public speech and coming across as a moron, or perhaps bumbling our words, freezing on the spot, or just not doing a good job. In an article in Psychology Today, it's explained that this fear of messing up in public is hardwired into our genes. In the past, we lived as groups and we hunted as groups. We were social animals and we had to collaborate to survive. If we failed to become a worthy member of that group, we got kicked out. And that would almost certainly mean we would not survive very long. We had to perform, and if we didn't, the other part of the tribe had zero tolerance because a weak member would surely result in the rest of the group being harmed. To give an example, if you were on watch and told to look out for big cats that could feast on members of the group, and you didn't perform very well that day, someone might lose a limb, an eye, or a life. There is and always has been a lot of pressure on people to not mess up. And that's why there is inbuilt into our psyches the fear of ostracism. That basically means the fear of being kicked out of the group. One psychologist said this: "To my knowledge, in the animal kingdom, ostracism is not only a form of social death, it also results in death. The animal is unable to protect itself against predators, cannot garner enough food, etc., and usually dies within a short period of time. And it's this fear that gives people the shakes when they go on stage, why athletes get the butterflies in their stomach, why most of us would rather pull off a fingernail than stand up in front of lots of people and attempt to say something meaningful. We just don't want to be ostracized from the group. It's not as if these days we have to be on watch, looking out for big-toothed, furry threats. So for most people, when they have the choice, they'd rather not take a risk and get up in front of people. If we have to do that, we often go wobbly at the knees. As one person put it, "My tongue stuck to the roof of my dry mouth, and I couldn't swallow. I blushed, I sweated, and trembled." We know that we shouldn't act like this because if we didn't fear being rejected, we would not try so hard to be good. As you might have seen even on social media, those that have no fear are often those that make fools of themselves. You have to find the middle ground, and that means to be self-effacing enough to be intelligent but not so critical that you can't even perform. But just what is going on in your head when you're asked to speak in public? First of all, you're not alone if you've ever suffered speech anxiety or what's known as glossophobia. As we've said, you'd actually be inhuman to not fear messing up. Some have it worse than others, though. We are told what happens to many people when they get up in front of a crowd is first they have a rise in their heartbeat. Some of you might know that sometimes this might feel like your heart is beating itself out of your chest. Ladies and gentlemen, ba-bump, 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 I think I'm having a heart attack. No, you're not. What's happening is a bunch of stress hormones are flooding through your brain. Remember your ancestor who took some Z's while on watch when a saber-toothed tiger was having the kids for dessert? These hormones, such as epinephrine and cortisol, are your friends. They're letting you know the situation is tense. Technically, what happens is a part of your brain called the hypothalamus triggers the pituitary gland to make some of the hormone ACTH. To cut a long story short, this produces adrenaline. The good news is, once this burst of adrenaline is over, you might get into a groove. This awards you with dopamine, and when a job is done, you might feel satisfied. That satisfaction in neurochemical terms means a shot of serotonin. Maybe people clap, give you a slap on the back, and that's the love hormone oxytocin working for you. But before everyone lives happily ever after, you have to deal with the girl of your dreams in the crowd, and you have to suddenly be endowed with the shakiest voice on the planet. You've broken out in a sweat and are hoping for some kind of Deus Ex Machina ending, and for the world to swallow you. Now, this might not be as bad for some as for others. We're sure that a few of you right now know exactly what it's like to have to stand up at a company meeting or in class on one of those horrid days when some cruel person has said, "Okay, can each of you just say a few words about yourself?" Some of us are more anxious than others. Some of us blush when asking a supermarket worker how much the bananas are. Some of us just produce too much adrenaline. If that's you, rest assured that you're likely not the person to put any old remark down in the comments box. The social anxiety can at least make some people feel very self-aware and critical. If that is you, please go ahead after the video and introduce yourself to the group. Just kidding. We like something the evolutionary biologist Charles Darwin once said when he was at a zoo in London. He was at the snake enclosure and putting his face right up to the glass. When the snake struck at the glass, he jumped back, his heart beating, feeling a freezing of fear. He said, "My will and reason were powerless against the imagination of a danger which had never been experienced." This ancient reaction is hardwired, and for good reason. You've all likely heard boxers saying, "Of course I was scared I was gonna lose. That's what makes me the boxer I am." Any good writer or novelist has all kinds of fears about not being good enough, but that's what makes them better. That's how they became good writers. We're told that if you fear writing or speaking or performing, it's a good idea to get set up first. One thing you can do is follow the 3 R's. That's reason, reveal, and resolution. Don't just wing it. Figure out what your reason is for speaking and then figure out what you're going to reveal to the audience. At the end, give them a conclusion or a resolution. If you don't have the 3 R's, maybe don't speak just yet. Yes, that doesn't always work when some sadistic teacher has asked you, the new boy in class, to introduce yourself. "Hi, my name is Jeff, I like sports and oh, someone kill me." But before you reach for the Xanax, just try to remember that there aren't any lions about. Nothing is that important. At the end of the day, nothing matters enough to ruin your day. We are all perfect failures in some ways, and because you know this, you're at least self-aware. That's commendable. Even though some of you might feel paralyzed when getting up on stage, the more you learn to care less, the better you'll defeat those demons. Jump when the snake lunges at you, but be aware there's always some metaphorical glass between you and your audience. At the same time, when you leave your comment below, be aware that thousands, maybe millions of people will see it. As one writer once said, every time he writes something he imagines, it's the last thing he'll ever say. This doesn't cause fear, but he said it makes him think wisely about what he says. Next time you're getting ready for your public speaking, make sure your presentation is as best as it can be so that you can focus on yourself. But how can you do that? Elements by Envato offers you over 9,000 presentation templates, along with over 1 million other assets, such as vectors, photos, music, and so much more. You can download unlimited files for a small monthly fee. There isn't a deal like that out there. And if you're serious about your next presentation, you should give it a try. Click the link in the description and save time starting today. Now over to you. Please leave a comment about how you deal with public speaking. How do you cope with anxiety? Do you have any tips for the others here? Remember, lots of people are looking at what you said. Tell us what you think in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video, I didn't sleep for a week and this happened. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.